since he passed away in that accident, he tells me that's all you can think about. He tells me that you've been playing psychic detective and trying to figure out what had happened to him. And he tells me that you went back and like retraced his steps in the route that he took that day. And he goes, Matt, do you know she is so upset about the way that I died and the way that I left this world? He actually told me, he goes, Matt, you need to come off the stage. You need to be right there with her. I'm coming there. Oh my God, this is very steep. Hold on. Or else you're going to be talking to me. So please no, can you come over here really quick? He says to me, Matt, he goes, you got to understand. He goes, my wife, he says, she's rough and tough on the inside. He says, but you got to know. He says that she is so sensitive. And I got to tell you, when I'm connecting with your husband, he thinks this is so funny because he goes, Matt, he goes, you don't understand. He goes, me and my wife, he goes, we used to go head to head with one another here in this world. He says, we loved each other. He goes, but we used to argue like cats and dogs. Do you understand that? He tells me this. He goes, Matt, he goes, I got to be honest with you. He goes, I was a little bit of afraid of her here in this world. He goes, I never said it. He goes, but I was a little bit afraid. Oh, he did say it? I guess he wasn't joking then. He tells me this. He says, the one thing that I need to let her know is about the day that I died. Because this is something that you have not been able to go through since his passing. He tells me about, since he passed away in that accident, he tells me that's all you can think about. He tells me that you've been playing psychic detective and trying to figure out what had happened to him. And he tells me that you went back and like retraced his steps in the route that he took that day. Do you understand that?
Yes.
He tells me this. He says, Matt, can I hold your hands? It's all right. He tells me this. He says, Matt, I need to let her know that the day that I died, I felt like that he lost consciousness when I'm connecting with him. Because it doesn't make sense when I'm connecting. A lot of times as a medium, they'll show me different pieces of their life or what had happened. And I just saw the swerving of tire tracks when I'm connecting with him. And he shows me him just going off the road. Do you understand that? And that's why nobody can figure out what had happened.
Exactly.
When I'm connecting with your husband, I feel, it's almost like I fell asleep when I'm connecting with him. That's what I feel, because I feel like his head just went down and that was it. Because I know that there was questions over, was he swerving to miss somebody? Was there another car involved? Was there this? Was there that?
Yes.
But I got to be honest with you, and I got to tell you the truth, even though it's not something that you want to hear. There was nothing else on the road that day.
Okay.
And that's what was tough. So I have to tell you this. When I'm connecting with him, he said to me, Matt, you need to let her know one thing. Here in this world, before I died, he says to me, I trusted her with everything. And I'm telling you this for a reason. Because now that he's on the other side, he tells me that you're always looking for his permission for things. You're always saying, would he have done this? Would he have liked this? Would he have liked that? And he tells me that you don't want to touch the house, that you don't even want to change things in the house since his passing. But he tells me about the fact that you're trying to paint. What the hell is with the painting? He says to me, please let her know it's okay to paint the house, he tells me.
I'm thinking of it.
Listen, when you think about things, you send a message directly to your loved ones in spirit. And he says to me, I know. He also said to me when I'm connecting, Matt, do you know that I'm around her neck? He says, I'm in that necklace.
Yes.
He says, and you made this just for him after his passing. He knows about that. He says, but the one thing that I need to let her know is how much that I truly loved her. Because what's so tough is when your husband died, he passed just like this. He tells me I didn't even know what had happened. And he shows me about, by the time police and everyone had gotten there, he was already gone. Yeah. So what's tough is this. I see you waiting for him and waiting for him and waiting for him. And the next thing you know, he didn't come home.
That's right.
He says to me one thing. He says to me, Matt, he goes, do you know that this makes up for lost time? He goes, do you know that back in the day when we first started dating, he goes, do you know she didn't want anything to do with me, he tells me? He goes, and used to say, you know this story?
Yes.
Wait a minute, now we have to hear the friend. Give us the testimonial.
They were longtime friends, and they worked together, and she didn't like him, and he didn't like her, but they worked together.
He tells me, he goes, Matt, do you know that she used to think I was the biggest pain in the ass here in this world? And used to be like, oh my God, he won't leave me alone. He won't leave me alone. I don't want to date him. I don't want to be with him. But he also tells me, oh boy, this gets better and better. He also tells me you were dating somebody else at the time as well. He says, and Matt, I didn't care, he tells me. He said, I was so obsessed with her that all I wanted he says, was to just go, he says, and have her give me the opportunity. So please know that what he tells me is this. He says, Matt, he says, this bond of love that we have will never be broken. And as hard as it is, and as much as you're trying to figure out what had happened, he says to me, I need you to know that at the end of the day, my soul is at peace. And he says to me, for that, he needs you to know that every day that goes by, he can see you in spirit. He says, I know that you sit in my chair, because he shows me about the chair that you'll go and you'll sit where he used to sit. He knows about the way that you reframe pictures, because I see new pictures that you put around the house of him here in the physical world. He says, and Matt, every single thing that she does, please let her know that I'm there and with her. And there's one other thing I have to tell you. He said to me, Matt, she says all the time, I wish I could just hug him one more time.
Yes.
He just said to me, can you please give her a hug from me from heaven? I really hope that this helped you. And I hope that you know that every day that goes by, he's here. By the way, he's also said to me, happy birthday, happy birthday. So know he's going to be with you on that day. It's next week. Perfect. So know that you are here and you're saying, oh my God, I don't want to celebrate. I don't even want to have my birthday because I think about my husband, right? Please know that he's going to be with you on that day. And know that as you celebrate, he's here because he just whispered in my ear when I hugged you, tell her happy birthday from me.